Thank you for listening to BizPod with me, Paul.
And me, Rachel.
Our weekly business English podcast where we talk about the news, social media, and hot topics from a business point of view. You'll get a podcast and links to the articles we discuss. This way you can share your thoughts too. Join us as we discuss what's on our minds this week.
Hello, Paul.
Hello.
Are you present today?
Present and correct, as always.
Okay. We're going to talk about an article about returning to work, presenteeism.
Yeah, it's a strange word, presenteeism.
I think we've touched on it before a previous week, some time ago.
Yeah.
But there's a new thing now. After all the joy from everybody being able to work from home, apparently some companies are now saying, right, come on back to the office full time.
Yeah, those micromanagers, those people who want to control your life, basically. Yeah, demanding that you are present in the office 5 days a week. I mean, we particularly chose this article because we heard, we were watching the news on the TV, and there was an article, a report on the news about Amazon saying that starting January next year, everyone's back in the office full time.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure how people are going to feel about that.
Well, I suppose some are going to be relieved because you'll have a clear definition between work and not work, because you're either at work or you're not at work.
Okay.
Because, you know, people who work from home, like us,
Yeah.
you know, you can have a bit of a blurring of the lines, can't you? You can land up working longer, answering emails when, you know, if you weren't in the office, you wouldn't. But then there's going to be other people who've got very, very comfortable and have, you know, altered their whole lives around working from home. They might have got a dog.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think some people will not appreciate what Amazon have said and what they're doing. And those people will probably search for other work, other opportunities with companies that are still offering the flexibility. But I'm curious about what you think. Do you think over the next sort of 5 or 10 years, every company is going to demand that everyone returns to the office full time? Do you think that's ever a possibility in the future?
I think one or two needed to do it first. Obviously, Amazon is going to stick their neck out and be first for it, but I think there may be a flurry of others that follow, and then I think we'll have a 50-50 split between it's all about trust, I think.
Yeah.
And the bigger the company, the less they trust you.
And Amazon is huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's strange because it's a huge company, but it's a tech, you know, one of the tech giants, and the tech giants are usually the first to adopt or adapt to new working conditions and new ideas and new solutions. And working from home, I think for a lot of businesses, it's a cost saver.
Yes, on one hand, but I think they think people are loafing about on the other hand.
Okay, I kind of agree with you that there is going to be that element of, you know, are you really working when you're at home? But I don't know. If you're, can you think back to the long gone days when you used to work in an office 5 days a week?
Most of the time I spent pretending I was working.
Yeah.
Waiting for the clock to turn so I could go home.
Yeah, and that's what I hated. I particularly remember I hated that Friday afternoon feeling. Yeah. It got to about 3 o'clock on a Friday afternoon and you'd literally done everything you were going to do that week.
Well, I used to clock off at 3 anyway on a Friday.
Yeah, you had flexi time, which was good.
Yeah.
You had that flexi time. So there's still that element of flexibility with some. But I remember, you know, my working day ended at 5:30 on a Friday.
Yeah.
But by 3 o'clock, you've kind of done everything. There were, you know, and you're just making work. You're pretending to work for 2.5 hours. Yeah. And honestly, I used to find it just soul destroying.
Yeah, yeah. It's wasting your time, isn't it? And time you're not going to get back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, in a home environment, when you've done all the work that you have to do, maybe there might be an email that arrives that you have to respond to before the end of the day.
But I think there's a difference between this kind of working from home when you're still an employee and working from home when you're a freelancer. If you're working from home as an employee, when you've run out of things to do, you go and do something else. But when you're working from home as a freelancer, if there's no work, you do other things in terms of, okay, so let's look for work. Let's add something. Let's work on my business rather than in my business. So you're always busy. So I think it's just employees who work from home who land up having free time.
Maybe I forget to do all that, Rach, because when I run out of work, I go and read a book.
That's why you've got a comfy chair in here, isn't it? Because when I can't get hold of you, you're sat in the corner reading a book.
I'm sat in my comfy chair reading a book. Yeah. Not answering my phone, not answering my emails, ignoring Alexa when she's asking me things.
When I drop in,
yeah.
Say, Paul, are you there?
I just go, shh, no, I'm not here.
Okay. But anyway, there's this guy called Sir Carrie Cooper. Not Gary Cooper, Carrie Cooper. Or is it Carey? I think it's Carrie.
I think it's a Manchester lad, so it's going to be Carrie, isn't it?
Okay. A professor of organisational psychology and health at the University of Manchester's Alliance Manchester Business School. He said, apparently, employers imposing strict requirements on staff to be in the office risked driving away talented workers, damaging the well-being of employees and undermining their financial performance. He went as far as calling them dinosaurs of our age.
Yeah. I think particularly, this will have an effect on the latest or the newest generation of workers. Those, I don't know, what do we call them? Millennials?
Generation Z, something like that.
Yeah. But, what we call young, lazy people.
With an attention span of a gnat.
Yeah. I don't think, even if they have the talent and the skills that companies want, particularly Amazon, I don't think they're going to be interested in working for companies that don't offer the flexibility and I don't think it's something that they just think they should have. They expect it, don't they?
It's funny you should say that, because later on in the article it talks about the government preparing to unveil sweeping changes to workers' rights legislation, including measures to make flexible working the default option for workers from day one. That I think is going a bit too far.
I don't think it is. I think it's a good idea. If your workers can work flexibly and remotely, that should be standard, I think. Why do you disagree with that?
Because if I was an employer, not a big employer like Amazon, but if I was an employer, I would want an element of the team being in the office, seeing the team working together. I'd want that social element. And if everybody's at home, it's not a case of I wouldn't trust them to do, because you give them the work to do and they either do it or they don't.
Yeah.
But I would question team building. Anybody who goes to an interview and says, "Oh yeah, are you a team player?" and they say yes, and all they've ever done is work from home, then I'm sorry, that's no. That's a no on a big scale.
But I don't think when they talk about making flexible working the default option, I don't think it means always from home. I think just means a possibility or an option of flexibility, like 3 days in the office, 2 days at home, that sort of thing.
No.
You're like a micromanager, aren't you? So, flexibility. Amazon is taking flexibility away from people. This article also talks about maybe some other big banks around the world taking flexibility away. I don't know. I don't think the future is going back to the way things were before the pandemic.
No, can't put the genie back in the bottle.
No, you can't. You can't, because I think so many people have, like you said, changed part of their lives around flexible working.
But I think also, we used to experience the objection people had to having English classes online.
Yeah.
And that objection disappeared overnight when people had to, kids had to study from online, and everybody working online. Now when you say we offer English online, they're like, oh, okay, no problem.
Yeah, because it's a standard thing now, isn't it? It's just that's what they expect nowadays, I think.
It's smashed that barrier, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah.
Maybe they need to think more about flexibility. So, rather than 3 days at home, 2 in the office, maybe say, I don't know. It's difficult, isn't it? It's a difficult one.
It is difficult, yeah. But I like you said, I don't think you can put the genie back in the bottle now. And I think people are going to demand flexibility from their employers in terms of allowing them to, work from home, if they need to, working from home if the kids are sick, things like that.
Well, I mean, there's an issue.
Go on then.
If the kids are sick, when I was a team manager in the insurance company, you had people off, oh, I've got the menopause, oh, the kids are sick, and they'd be off and they couldn't work. Well, it'd be like, well, take the computer with you, you can work from home.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, but there's no getting out of work. None of this sick day rubbish. Do you know what I mean?
I don't think you have people making up sick days. I remember when it was kind of expected that you would have 3, 4, 5 sick days a year that were not genuine sick days. It's just like, I think employers kind of expected you're going to have sick days.
When I worked for the promotional gift company, for the first day of your sick day, you didn't get paid. And that sort of cancelled odd sick days.
Yeah, I suppose
overnight.
It did.
And as a team manager, I used to particularly look for people who took off Fridays and Mondays. If you were sick on a Friday or a Monday, you'd ring alarm bells on my spreadsheet.
Oh, of course it would. But even I think I must have had lots of sick days on Fridays and Mondays in my life. But I think if you want an extra day off and you're going to be sick, I think you've got to have a Thursday and a Friday off. You've got to have 2 days. Otherwise, it just looks suspicious.
Okay, all right. Well, it's a short one today, and it's about presenteeism. I mean, anybody out there who is currently working from home, maybe all the time, or maybe people who took a job and they live in a different part of the country where their headquarters are. I mean, how would you feel if you were suddenly dragged into the office 2 or 3 days a week, or maybe even permanently? Yeah, who is it? Amazon, Boots and Goldman Sachs have demanded employees return to a 5-day office-based working routine. So no more working from home.
Yeah, I couldn't do it, I don't think. I don't think I would want to do it.
It's the commute that would kill me.
Yeah. Anyway, let us know what you think.
Okay, bye.
Thanks for listening. We hope you liked our podcast. And please don't forget to subscribe and stay connected with us. Until next time, goodbye.